Hi, welcome to the Ask an Expert widget trial evaluation in New York State. This is a tutorial video which will overview the Ask an Expert widget and how we're going to conduct this trial in New York State during the spring and summer of 2011. My name is Steve Gabriel. I'm the project manager for this, and I work for garden-based learning at Cornell University, which is in the Department of Horticulture. So let's look at some of the players involved in this trial. So we have sort of three main parties. The first is at the top. That's Cornell University Cooperative Extension Offices. That's you. We're looking to get a variety of counties and regions involved, and we're going to set up widgets for both individual counties and also collective regions to answer questions and try it on for size. Bottom left corner is our program. Our goal is to help facilitate better communication and better collaboration amongst extensions in the state, and also to sort of facilitate good communication between extension offices and Cornell University. Third party would be E-Extension, the right corner there. E-Extension is a national initiative to help connect extensions around the country and to better facilitate the sharing of resources and the collaboration around different topic areas. So why are we going to trial this widget? Well, there's a few reasons, and the first is that we've gotten feedback from counties in our state that they spend a ton of time answering routine questions. Both staff and volunteers find themselves kind of reinventing the wheel each season, and we'd like to use tools and look at different ways that we can help make that process more efficient. One of the things we're also working on is to overhaul our web resources and make those easier to access. But we think this widget has the potential to help speed up the process and allow us to devote more time to other emerging issues. Another reason we'd like to trial this widget is at Cornell here we'd like to better evaluate the trends and hot topics and needs that are happening around the state. One of the nice things about this widget is it keeps a record of all questions that are asked and the answers they're given, and so we can do some investigation into what kind of topics people are really interested in and respond with the appropriate resources. Third reason is we'd like more opportunities to collaborate and discuss between county staff and volunteers. We have a lot of expertise around the state that we may not be aware of, and this widget can serve as one way to sort of better connect us and have conversations around questions as we're answering them. Another reason is that someone else, in this case E-Extension, has spent time and money building this system and will continue to spend time and money maintaining it for us. Cornell University does pay E-Extension a subscription fee to use all the services they offer. So we really encourage you to sign up for an ID and check out all the possibilities, including this Ask an Expert system. And we'll get into more about how to do that later in this tutorial. And finally, there's been other state trials around the country, Minnesota, Virginia, North Carolina, to name a few, and they found that staff, volunteers, and the general public really like this widget tool and are making good use of it. So we want to see if people feel the same way in New York State. So what is a widget? A widget is essentially a small piece of software that E-Extension has developed that allows users visiting a website to really simply ask a question. The questions that are asked are then sent to only the members of a widget community. And in this trial, we're going to be looking to make widget communities that are just county specific and also ones that are regional specific. So let me show you how this works. The first thing you do is type in a question. You would identify your location, state and county. If you had an image, maybe it's an ID question or a diagnostic question, you can upload the image right along with this question. And then you enter your email and press Ask. And you can see it says, "Thank you. You can expect a response emailed to the address you provided." Where this question goes is it goes to the widget community, and it's assigned directly to a person who has the least amount of questions on their plate. And that person will get an email pointing them to the E-Extension website and giving them the option to answer the question, to hand the question off to someone else, or to research through the database to find other answers that will help them answer the specific question they've been assigned. So that's the basics. We'll look at more of the E-Extension website, but this widget's pretty customizable. We can change some of the look of it, the size of it, the shape of it, and we can embed it right on your website wherever you'd like. So it's a pretty great little tool. So some things to know about this widget. The first is that you can post as many widget tools as you want wherever you want on your website. We don't recommend putting it right on the home page because then people might not look for resources. They might just ask a question and it might overload the system. So we'll try to bury it a little bit. We'll talk about that more later on. You can choose who to involve and not involve in your widget community. So they can include any sort of staff and volunteers that would appropriately field questions, but you have an entire customization in terms of who you want to involve. Only members of the widget community get questions, so questions are directed within the community, and if no one in your community can answer the question, it can be directed outside of your widget community. But we do encourage people to try to work with it within the system. The widget system will automatically record, assign questions, and keep information on them. So again, it's really nice in terms of the automation, the documentation, those sort of things in terms of this software. The system assigns questions based on who is most available. So if you have a pile of 5 or 6 questions that you're trying to answer, the system's not going to throw another question onto your pile. It's going to look for someone who has maybe 0 questions or 1 question and give them the new question to work on. Finally, a good thing to know is that you can turn your participation on or off at any time. So once you join a widget community, you will start getting questions. If you go on vacation or something, you can turn your participation off until you return, and during that time you won't get questions. Alright, so we're going to get into the e-extension system and get a sense of how the Ask an Expert widget really fits in. There's a lot of information here, and some of it's organized well, and I think some of it's hard to find. So I'd really encourage you to take some time to explore the system and get to know it a little bit. This is www.extension.org, and this is the main public website. This is what we would point the general public to as a resource. And it has a number of different articles and topic areas and webinars, as you can see here, upcoming events. It also has an Ask an Expert system, and this is different than the one we're talking about. This is the national system. So let's go check that out. So same kind of thing, you enter your question. In this system, it actually takes you into the database so you can look for an answer. And then if no answer is found, then it'll send it on to a pool of experts. And the experts are national. It's not a county or regional or state level. It's really national. The e-extension system will try to match you up with an expert who is in your county ideally or in your state. But if they can't find anybody, then they'll go sort of throughout the United States to look for someone to answer the question. So for your participation in the project, you can choose if you want to be a participant in the national system, which is this one, or if you just want to limit your questions to people that use the specific widget that's on your website. That's really up to you. Alright, so that's the public interface. I encourage you to explore that. And then there's sort of the private interface or the backdoor interface, which is really for extension staff, university professionals, government people, anyone that's out there doing extension type work. And this is a really nice resource for those people to research and connect and collaborate. So that web address is about.extension.org. And you don't have access to it until you sign up for an extension ID. And you can see there's a button right here that says Get Your Extension ID. So you want to go to the website and click on this button. It'll ask you if you're eligible, and basically if you have a .edu or a .gov extension on your email, you can instantly sign up for the system. So you can see my address here has .edu, so I'm ready to go. If you want to sign up a volunteer or someone that doesn't have one of those extensions, say a Gmail account or something like that, they can sign up through this exact same form. What it'll do is say that someone needs to vouch, and you'll need to, as a team leader, go in and say, yes, this person is approved to use the system. Alright, so once you're in, you'll have this toolbar above you, which has some different options, and there's some interesting features here. So one of the opportunities that I like is communities of practice, where you can sign up for different communities and have conversations and share resources and information. Alright, so there's a whole bunch of these. This is just, children and sort of child education. If we go more into the middle of the system, There's even things like aquaculture economics, and there's only one person in this community of practice right now, and that's a pretty lonely place to be in. But some of them, like the health and nutritious community of practice, has several hundred members. So you can look for communities of practice to join. There's the E-Extension Campus, which has a number of online educational opportunities to play on. We'll go back. There's opportunities to collaborate. There's different ways to connect with people, etc., etc. So browse all of these. There's a lot of resource here. What we're going to focus on is really this AaE, Ask an Expert, part of the system.